for me. Okay. And go here. Okay, I think we're mostly recovered. Yes. Okay. Welcome everybody. We are recording. Hey, it's March. Are most people thinking what in the world is going on? It's almost the end of March already, 2021. This Groundhog Day, I don't know, perspective just makes everything run into each other, and who knows what's going on. But hello, everybody. Welcome to Mix It Up. Thank you very much for joining. As always, especially to our panel today, who have some fantastically interesting stories to share. I'm so impressed. This was a tougher topic, and I thought we were getting some background noise. This is a tougher topic, and you have to reach a little bit deeper on this one. And I really, really appreciate our panel for stepping up on this. We'll introduce them in a minute. Let's go ahead and start getting you up to date on all the community events. And boy, there are a lot of them coming up. We certainly got April's Mix It Up, where we're going to have on a plethora of Microsoft MVPs to share what they love about Wave 1 of the 2021 release for Business Central. So that will be cool. And of course, we got the launch event for Microsoft as well coming up. That's on, I can't read it, but it's the early part of April. And of course, they do recording and you can watch it afterwards if you can't make it. They're usually interesting sometimes. Yeah, right? That's you never know what you're going to get with Microsoft. So hopefully you can make that. Then we've got the worldwide Microsoft Technology User Conference. I think that's what it all stands for. Coming up the middle of the month. That's a 2-day event. And then there's also the BC Boot Camp. So plenty of learning available. And all of those events are free as well. And then if you have missed this as well, we have several of the local user group leaders on today. They have done a phenomenal job coordinating across the country for 2021 and opening up their events to everyone. And so a whole parade of learning opportunities coming up over the course of the year, and you can see the dates there. And that's the link to the overall listing, and then you can drill in from there to find the individual local user groups. So that should catch you up and keep you learning and advancing with Business Central. All right, so reminder, share your webcam if you like, mute if you're not speaking, but please unmute and speak up, and we like to have a conversation if we can. And we're going to vote at the end for the favorite tip. I'll put that survey link in the chat as we move along here. And let's learn how to make a Paloma. So, Bartender Kim, are you ready?
I am ready. So let's make a La Paloma. And I know, Mark, this is one of your favorite drinks.
Oh, yeah, it's very fresh.
I actually got fancy with the glass today. Put a little salt.
Wow.
Little lime salt as well on there. So it's getting a little fancy around here.
Salt.
Yeah, don't worry. It's not going to get any more fancy than that because this is my mixing jug here. So somehow some bartending stuff has disappeared. So in this drink, we have 2 ounces of tequila. So I was having a hard time deciding which one I'm going to use. But both of these are actually very good when it comes to mixing it with any type of citrus. So they already kind of have citrus overtones. So Avión is one of my personal favorites, especially when making tequila sangria, because it goes great with all the fruits in it. And this, yes, is the Rocks tequila. I did buy it, and it is good. So it also is kind of citrusy. So, I don't know. It's a hard choice. Let's just taste test them both first.
That's right. Swig it, Kim. Swig it.
Nobody else in this house drinks it except for me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let's go with that one. I still like this one better. All right, so 2 ounces. Yeah, that's about 2. 2 ounces of tequila. Oh, And just a pro tip, I did try this last night and this did not end well for me. I'm using a grapefruit soda instead of grapefruit juice. You don't want to put this in here and then shake it up. So we'll save that. I'm going to put some lime juice in. Don't laugh, Steve. I might have already had a tequila before I started trying to mix this drink last night.
You know, that would explain a lot from our meeting earlier.
Yeah, maybe. You know, it's not like I drink a lot. I'm going to go on mute for a second while I shake this. So please talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I think Jessie has personal experience shaking a cocktail with a carbonated beverage included by her reaction.
No, but I used to bartend another lifetime ago, and I just, that's just one of the rules.
That's one of the rules. Good roll.
I'm very jealous to anybody who gets to drink, though. I'm still at the office. It's frowned upon, apparently, when you're still there.
All right. There we go. Oh, and now I forgot to bring something up to. Oh well, ice is going.
Wait, we won't tell if you don't tell.
We're in the same boat too, Jesse. Don't feel bad.
Good.
All right. So, a little bit of grapefruit soda in there. All right, let's see how it tastes. Wow, it's a lot of salt on the rim. And a lot of grapefruit juice. So yeah, cheers everyone. Have a drink.
It looks delicious.
It is actually, it's not bad.
Thank you, Barkeep. And I just have to point out what a perfectly rimmed cocktail glass that is. It's superbly even, which is tremendously impressive.
Well, a lot of it fell off on the way up here, so I think it worked out well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never know. All right. So I hope everybody gets to enjoy that soon. That's a good welcome to spring drink, that's for sure. All right, I think we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and bring on the panel. Like I said, I'm just so thankful that we had so many raise their hands and say, I really enjoy talking about what we're doing with Business Central at our organization. And we've got tremendous panel with us today. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start with Bill first, not just because I want to throw it upside down, but Bill's connecting over a hotspot because his electricity is out. So we're all taking side bets about when data is going to run out or when his battery is going to run out. But we'll go ahead and let Bill share first. Bill?
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, we had Duke Energy decided to shut the whole town, the power for the whole town down about 3:15. So they said it was an hour, but it's 55 minutes and we're still down. So I don't know how long I'll be on, but I am Bill Wilson. I am the ERP manager here at Park 100 Foods. And Park 100 Foods, we make lots of soups and macaroni and cheeses and side dishes. So if you go to Panera, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, McAllister's, you've had our product. We make the mac and cheeses for Panera and Chick-fil-A and Boston Market and all the soups for Panera and McAllister's and Wendy's chili and Wendy's cheese sauce. So you probably had something that we make here. And we make about 1 million pounds of product a day between our 3 facilities. So one of the things that we found was an issue about 4 years ago was putting product on hold after we take it, after it's produced and on the truck and going into the frozen storage area. We want to make sure that product stays on hold until we get all of our micro information back. So what happens is we had to manually release all the product up until about 4 years ago. So our partner, Segunya, and myself, we started working on a project that we would design a report every day to come out that tells the batches that we ran, the product that comes out, and as soon as product comes out of our spiral freezer, It's palletized and lotted. A pallet tag is put on it, and that product immediately goes on a time hold. And what happens after that is we take the document that Nav produces for us, and we send that document to our offsite facility that tests all the product for E. coli and APC and Salmonella, Listeria, everything. And until they send a product back or send a document back for each batch saying this product is approved or should stay on hold, that product will stay on hold even if it gets out the door and on a sales order somewhere. It's immediately flagged and it comes right back to the facility because that product is not ready to go yet. So Nav does all of that for us with its EDI functions. We use another program called Square 9, which is where the documentation that we get from our offsite facility, they send us a CSV file for every batch that we run, and that goes into Square 9, and then Nav pulls out the CSV file and finds out if each batch is either approved or just stay on hold. So it's been a godsend for the last 4 years. We've probably eliminated a couple of jobs or moved those people to another spot in Park 100's facilities because we don't need them to manually pull things into hold and off a hold. So that's one of the real fun projects that I've done over the last 4 years.
I love when you're making, I mean, not an insignificant change, but not a big change, right? Not making a change like that can mean the world of difference. I love that.
Oh yeah, because if we would get a product out that was not on hold and got into somebody's, got to Panera, for example, and it did have E. coli or Salmonella or something in it, our doors could close tomorrow.
Sure.
So, technology is fabulous for doing things like this, and we get to utilize Excel in helping create the document, from Nav or finishing the document to send to the offsite facility. So,
Yeah.
and CSV files and EDI, all those things work together. So it's really cool.
Beautiful. Anybody
That's
got
it.
any questions on that? All right. Hopefully that sparks some ideas as well. That's very interesting. All right, Bill. Thank you. I know you got.
I had pictures, but obviously I can't show you pictures right now.
Yeah, right. And I know that's just one improvement you've made over the years, one of many over there. So thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Okay. I guess we'll go back to the order then. Josh, are you ready?
I'm ready. And Bill, since you don't have pictures, I think we would all settle for some Panera gift cards. I mean, that's.
I second that.
In the probably 12 years that we've been supplier for Panera, we got one $25 gift card about a year into the run, and that was because we were supplier of the year that year, and we've never gotten anything from Panera or Park or anything for our work with Panera or Wendy's or Chick-fil-A or anybody else.
Please tell me that was Panera sent your entire company one $25 gift card.
No. They sent us. I think our company probably bought $25 gift cards for everybody, but we got $25 Panera gift cards.
Danish for 5 people.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill.
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
I do have a quick question. What
hey,
in Business Central or Nav indicates that a product is on hold for you?
We customize the field right on our item card. We're in 2018 right now. We're just starting the process of moving over to BC, but we put a customized field on our item card under the I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly what we call it. It's the not the R&D, but the the QA tab that we set up for our item. Our item cards are our Bible of our products. I mean, we can tell anything from the name of the product to how much we have on hand to what the tests are done, whether it's E. coli or salmonella or APC, all those things we can find out right off their item card. So we had to build an item helper table because our item card table got so big it couldn't take all the customizations. So we set up just a special field on our item card that said we could put in the word time hold, we could put in the word available, we could put a QA hold, we could put R&D hold. We have about 7 different text, lines of text that we put in there. And then when later in the process, when it sees, okay, this is on time hold, I got to move it from time hold to available or time hold to, maybe we just put it back into rework or something like that. So the process knows what to do with the time hold field and where to move it to. So everything's customized there.
Hey, Bill, did you look at an add-on or anything, like a quality management add-on before you went customization route?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually manage quality holds by virtual location.
Oh, cool.
So everything's in a particular location until quality releases it, and then we use a transfer order to release it.
Okay. Maybe after this meeting, you might just drop me a line, and maybe we could get together sometime and go a little bit deeper with what we're doing already.
Sure.
Guys, and sorry I arrived a little bit late. This is Francisco Martinez from Wholesome. Got a question for you because we also we do blog, but for the items that we sell, we have QC holes. So basically what we do, but we do have a vertical called link fresh. We put a lot number or pallet number on holes. I don't know if you guys have that option as well. That was pretty helpful. Mm-hmm. We try to develop it better, but that's what we do. We basically, I would say, studying with that.
Okay.
Yeah, something to think about, Bill. I mean, I know some of the quality management stuff out there, I know puts it when your quality test makes it a fail, it'll put it on hold so you can't pick and pack it. So something to think about with, as well as what Lewis is Lewis is saying, the virtual movement of using transfer orders, it uses that utility versus anything else. So you'll go back to more standard software and apps versus the customization route. So something to think about.
Sure. I guess the one thing that we have that is probably a little bit different than other companies is our off-site storage facility is not part of the Nav group. So it takes a little bit more to for them to, for us all to come together with different ideas and different since they're not on Nav, they're on a different program. But we thought this was just utilizing Nav by itself, and I'd be glad to talk to somebody about some quality add-ons.
That's actually something we're looking for. We have it on Business Central, the one that we have from Leanfresh, but gosh, it's not the best. I just finished a meeting with some company called Clarifruit. I don't know if anyone of you has seen it. It is really nice. Kind of expensive, but it's really nice. But it does the job, it just does the job out of the box.
Yeah.
It's all expensive.
Steve, do you have any other names on the top of your head?
Yeah, I pretty much turn to 2 solutions when it comes to quality. One is cost control because it allows for the ability to quarantine stuff pending a solution, and then you can pick it. And the other is InsightWorks, which has a quality management, and I'm sure you've heard of their name. Right. But they have a great quality management solution, and it's actually being upgraded, I think, in the next couple of months. They're making another new version of it. So those are the 2 that I turn to, and in both cases they do the job. Very standalone, works well. You can create your testing patterns, upload documents. I know, Bill, you said you have a lot of documents you get from a third party, so You can upload them and attach them to the quality test, and then C of A's, of course, have to come out of that, I'm sure, with food.
Silverware also has a quality control add-on.
Okay.
Bill, cost controls right in your neck of the woods there in Fishers.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll reach out.
Interesting. All right. Fantastic. Nice chat. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, guys.
Josh, you're calling in from Cleveland, I'm guessing.
How could you tell? My name is Josh Flagner. I'm the planning manager at a company called Cleveland Tank and Supply. We make tanks, diesel fuel tanks, hydraulic tanks for school buses, emergency vehicles, so like fire trucks, ambulances, all sorts of things in the construction field. And that's what we do. It's not quite as dangerous as Bill's field. If he sends something to Panera with salmonella in it, everything is bad. If I send a leaky tank somewhere, they just yell at me for a couple of days. But what we do, and I started life as a planner. So the thing that I came up with when we got to Cleveland Tank, and not a whole lot of people were doing it, it was kind of a haphazard department. When I showed up, it is the useriest real simple thing that you can do in Nav, and it saved me. It saved me countless hours of work since I started doing it. Anyone who does planning in a manufacturing process, you run your plan, you get a bunch of firm plan production orders. If you have a sales department, like every sales department on the planet, they're probably not using the dates and everything exactly the way they're supposed to do. No one is ever going to give you a good forecast, no matter how many times you ask or how many times they say that they've done it. So, all of the firm planned orders go in, and it's just a big block of stuff. And as the planner, as somebody who's going to make the schedule, you've got to look into that and figure out what you're going to release, when you're going to release it, how you're going to batch it. And then you've got to make all that work with the people who you're handing the paperwork to, because the people on the floor, if it doesn't make sense when you hand it to them, are just going to do it the way that they want to do it anyway. So we have tanks, we have straps, we have brackets, we have a whole bunch of kits and sub-assemblies, and everything has to go to a different place in the shop. Some of it goes to a different supervisor, and it all has to be done kind of on its own schedule. And, when you're dealing with forecasts and dates and everything, that's just a big clump of stuff. How are you going to do that? Like, how can you batch all of those things as you're choosing what to release and what not to release? The simplest thing is to customize your views and save a whole bunch of views under your firm planned order. So that's what I did. I have on my right hand side, when I click on the little firm planned parent, it goes down, and I've got tanks, and I've got straps, and I've got brackets, and I've got rubbers and kits and all the stuff that I have to do. And they're all set up to only show me the amount of days forward that I want to look at when I open up my tanks today. So if I click right now and open up my tanks for right now, it's March 24th, so I'm looking about a month ahead on my tanks. It's only going to show me the stuff from to the last week of April, and obviously things that are late or expedited orders. Even though our lead time says we can't fit any expedites in, there's always something that's due next week that's brand new. So it'll show me those things too. So it's really easy to go in there and sort all of your firm planned orders, and all you have to do is save a bunch of views under firm planned orders. And honestly, that's really kind of it. It isn't real complicated. It's not a customization. It's not an add-on, and no one else in the company knows it except for me and everyone else who I've gone around and changed views and saved a bunch of views for other people. Everyone has something that they do every day that takes 10 clicks. And you just find a way to make that take one click. And in this case, all it is saving views.
I'm right there with you, Josh. I can't tell you the number of times we do a personalization and navigation class The number of times people say, I don't need that. I know how to get around the system, you know, et cetera, and then they go through the class and they're just besides themselves how they didn't know you could do that and how much time it's going to save them. And it's incredible. It's the biggest turnaround when we see folks go through that class and learn how many clicks we can save them every day, almost every hour of every day. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just a matter of being organized with how you sort your parts. So as long as you have all of your parts sorted in general, I saved them, you know, sorted them by general product posting group, and as long as you've got everything organized well, it solves every problem. And honestly, it takes all of the frustration that you feel from not getting forecasts and you know dates going in weird and everything else. It takes all of those frustrations all the way away, almost. I mean, except for, you know, getting yelled at every couple days.
Yeah, well, I love that you went around to everybody and set them up with something too. That's fantastic.
Well, that's karma. So that's why when somebody says, you know, hey, why didn't you get this done, or what's going on out there, I can, well, you know, it's okay, man. I try real hard, and you know, remember that thing I showed you yesterday, like that works, so we're fine.
Right. Beautiful.
Sorry, I was muted. We're trying to do the same, but now that you mentioned, I was like, that can be possible. I got one of the people on my team because we really want to do it to role tailor clients.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of getting together with the sales manager, sales coordinator, and try to identify daily activities, weekly activities, and maybe we have like daily on urgent things to do and, you know, daily things to do. Because we realized a few months ago that no one really uses the role tailor client. Some of them, they do have a lot of use. I would say the accounting team, but the rest, they don't even have a clue. You know, we kind of get to a point that we say, you know, something, let's do a investigation and let's create something. But yeah, the way you just mentioned it, just is what the accounting manager has. She has like 45 views.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, my left side field is full of stuff, and generally that is the type of thing that would bother me. Like I'm like if you look at my computer, I try to have no desktop icons. Like I try to not be I try to not be disorganized. I was a proponent of inbox zero for about 35 minutes, but it was a real intense 35 minutes a few years ago. So like, you know, I tried to organize everything. But is, you know, to have all those views along the left-hand side, it is so much easier for me, even if the clutter of a lot of words over there kind of bugs me a little, to just look down there and you know, click on the view that I know that I have to go have. I mean, that's so much easier than, you know, making 10 or 15 clicks and always whatever. I mean, it's even easier than customizing the ribbon.
Love it. Love it. Excellent, excellent. I'm sensing a lot of thumbs up from the crowd that I can't see, but all right. Inbox zero.
Belinda said, so the inbox zero thing, I really, really cared about that for a long time. But I think when at some point, I don't remember exactly when, I don't keep up with the updates. I don't know, like Windows pops up a thing and says you have to update, and I click download and walk away from my computer for 10 minutes. But at some point, Microsoft Office or Microsoft Outlook really improved their search functionality. So it used to be that was real important for me to have all that stuff organized so I could find things. But the search functionality is so good now that it almost doesn't matter. I mean, it's so much easier now to just put in a subject line or a purchase order number or a name or something, and it comes up so good now.
Good point. Good point. Excellent. Hey, Josh, that was very entertaining. Thank you. Great points. Great points. Good reminders as well. Yeah. All right. Linda, I believe you're on.
I'm here.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. I've got your slides ready. Are you ready?
Oh, good. Yeah. So, contrary to Josh, my role is I'm not so much a Nav user, but I'm head of the IT department. So it's my job to sort of find problems and fix them. And someone brought to me an issue with item creation. For a long time, I know, as Bill was saying before, item creation was so hard. It was so confusing. We couldn't get it right ever. My company had gone through at least 6 iterations of people trying to revamp the item creation process. And so they handed it to me and said, Linda, can you do something? I was like, I don't know. Well, let's try. So I went a slightly different route, and I kind of went external to Nav and BC a little bit, and I employed the Powerapp platform. And I created an app to make items and then shuffle them into Nav once we were done. So I could not figure out a way to get the sort of the workflows to work correctly. I couldn't get anything in BC or Nav to work exactly the way I wanted to, so I made my own. So if you want to, I made some slides. If you want to pop over the first slide. So basically, I created an item creation app inside of Powerapp that I wanted to, my users can go through and suggest items and enter all the information that they knew about this new item. And then we can go through a process of approval by operations and by accounting and by other people, all before it ended up in Nav. Decreasing emails flying about, decreasing the errors that we're going through. And so this is sort of at a high level what I made. So if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. So I stole a lot of things from BC. I stole the template concept, stole it outright, because we had tried to implement that and it didn't go far enough for us. So I created a little, basically a form where you could input a lot of data based on what the template people had used and what they had put in certain fields. I could then employ a lot of business logic to sort of put in a lot of the fields behind the scenes that people didn't need to fill out and usually filled out wrong. You know, things like item tracking and replenishment and unit measure codes and things like that. So this was basically for my sales team to put in the information that they knew. I put in a bunch of drop downs and other logic. The nice thing about these forms is you can actually put in hyperlinks. So if you'll see, there's some reference fields in there that when they click on it, will actually go out to other information to tell them how to format the item description properly, or tell them what SDS code to pick, or sort of hold their hand and lead them through the process as much as possible. So they go ahead and they enter all this functionality. I can put in business logic to look for similar items that are already in the system. And are you sure you want a new item? Because we have this one over here that looks really similar to what you're trying to do. So we can put a lot of that kind of logic into it. And then if you want to skip to the next slide. Once they've put all that information in, basically what it does is it gives them a synopsis of what they've entered and then gives them a bunch of stuff across the top. Flip to the next slide. Did it fast forward? I'm still seeing the same one.
Which one should we be on?
You should be the one, the fourth one. So, well, the third one. So the one with all the buttons across the top.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm showing.
Oh, okay. I'm not seeing
That's
that.
what I see.
Okay.
Oh, that's what you see? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I do. It just updated. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, so they can basically, so there's a synopsis of what they've entered so far, and then there's buttons across the top where they can start putting in their suggested information. Now, obviously, for things like bombs and routings, operations has the final say, but if it's in, you know, something they're familiar with, they can put in what their suggested bomb is. They can put in what their suggested routings are. They put in their attributes. So in this case, I can see that, you know, this is a copper alloy 99.5, and it's going to make a ring ID segment. We make actually small pieces for brazing, which is like welding, but at a lower temperature across a bunch of end markets. So this could be going into an airplane, or it could be going into you know, a cochlear implant, or it could be going into an air conditioning unit, you know, across whatever. So this is just the generic copper ring that we can use in multi segments. And they put that information in, and the unit of measure, and then they have the ability to put in cross references and specs. Those specs are actually from cost control, which is the unit we were just talking about. If you go to the next slide, you'll see that here are some of the screens we have for putting in cross references, and you can see these are sort of a mix between custom and native Nav functionality. You know, we've added some extra stuff like certification requirements because we need to keep, you know, lots of different certs for different customers and packaging requirements and lots of things like that. PPAPs, if anybody's familiar with manufacturing, and ITAR requirements. And then they can create their cross references directly in here. And then from there, they can go up on the right side. It shows actually, this is the screen that feeds right into the cost control module to help with manufacturing specs. So upper and lower limits for different things, and for the chemistries and the certifications required for all of that. They can enter all that information here. The nice thing about this is I can go ahead and populate, once again, with business logic, a lot of these for them. And so they can just fill out, you know, the 2 or 3 different things on each row that they know that I can't do programmatically. And then if you go to the next slide, and then we added the ability to actually upload prints. So these actually go out to Azure, and they're stored in a container in Azure. That way we can use them across multiple applications, because this isn't the only Powerapp app we have. We fill a lot of gaps in Nav with Powerapps, but they have the ability to link prints or POs or emails or whatever it is they want directly to the item request. And the nice thing about this is, if you see there's a checkbox on there that says link to Nav. If they check that box, when the item actually gets transferred over to Nav, it will create a link back to that document in the links fact boxes on the item card and the item list, so they can just click on that and open the print back up again, which is very nice. It's quite handy. And then if you move on to the next one, so that's all of what our sales team does. And then they just sort of change a status in there, which is ready for review. And that's when our more experienced operations people get involved. They double check all that information that's been entered against what they know about manufacturing, against the print. If they have questions, they can hit that email button and it will automatically send an email back to the person who requested it, and they can type in whatever questions they have and it will come back to them. And once they're satisfied all that information is correct, they can hit the magic make item button. And what that does is it actually takes all the data that they've entered and all the data that's been generated and pushes it all into Nav and actually makes an item for them. It puts all the information in the cross-reference. It puts all the information in the cost control module for their quality tests. It emails the requester that an item has been created, and then it emails my accounting team, because they're the ones who have final unblock privileges on the item card. So they go through and they check the costing and they check everything is okay. Then they unblock the item, and then it shuffles all those links over to the item card and then sends an email back to the requester, and then it archives that request in case we have any questions later on. And that's it. It took a minute to make.
Cool. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I gotta stop. Yay.
Linda, I need this tool. I'm gonna hack your company. I really need it. You don't have an idea. This is a request I have from one of the owners.
We use Powerapp to fill a lot of gaps like that when we're having a problem with either process or something that Nav can't quite do. You know, we have an RFQ app where our sales team can request RFQ, our purchasing department to send RFQs out to vendors. A lot of those little things that we need to do that we're just having trouble with, we just fall back to Powerapps and use that to move forward.
Incredible.
Wow. We're barely starting with Powerapp. We're trying to connect it all today, you know?
It's awesome. It's so much. I have created, this is one of the more complicated ones, but you can create, I've created Powerapps in a day for simple things like, tube inventory, keeping track of, specific pieces of inventory that we don't really use item tracking for, but we just need a little database to keep track of, when to buy new stuff. And we use it for all kinds of things. So.
Great.
There you go.
Question in the chat: what version of Nav are you on?
We are actually we have our objects are BC 14, but our database is 2017. So we're in the process of moving to the latest version of BC, but we're not there yet. So our objects are BC 14.
You have to be one of Microsoft's favorite customers. My goodness.
No.
Excellent. Okay, no other questions, sounds like. So we got a couple more still to go here. So we'll go ahead and move on. Linda, thank you for putting all that together. That is, wow, that's impressive. Yeah, sounds like there's a commercial opportunity for you there. All right. Kelly Miller, unfortunately, had a couple great stories to share, but she got an important meeting scheduled over on top of this. So hopefully we'll have her back another time to share that. So Andrea's up next.
Hi. So I like mods a lot. I don't know if you guys saw like the guy in the yellow jacket. He's peeking around the tree like with his hands up. That's me and mods. But Mark told me non-mods. So
I'm just pushing you. Just
I had to dig really, really deep for this one, guys. So this is kind of a silly one. Most of my background is in accounting and finance. So I oversee either as controller as a super user or IT manager at Charlotte's Web, where I kind of oversaw the whole ERP system, set up a lot of things. But the one silly tip that I have is the Nacha file, because a lot of people don't know. If you ever had to set up a new bank account, if you got a new bank and they say, okay, you're going to need Nacha for the ACH file, you probably have spent a lot of time trying to figure out what that is, how you're going to customize it, but it's already built in. All you have to do is leave that field blank for the ACH and it will automatically default to Nacha. The only requirement that you definitely have to fill out is in your general information, your company information. It's going to take that number that's in there, which is your FEIN normally, and put that on the file. Sometimes your bank does not like that and they want their account number there. You can't really modify that file. You could modify that field if you wanted to. So it pulled from a different field that's not FEIN, that is that bank account number from the general company. But otherwise, it's fairly simple. You don't have to do anything. So that's my hot tip. If you ever want to know how you can modify Insight Works, make your CK75 units faster, like that pick time up, let me know.
And Andrea, for those who haven't delved into e-banking, this is all for the e-banking setup, right?
Yes, definitely. It's the ACH.
Yeah.
Because normally you have like positive pay files for your checking, and then they'll normally ask for Nacha. Sometimes your bank will ask for something different, and then you have to go in and you have to customize it, which looks really intimidating at first. But once you get in there and kind of like, oh, it's just asking for how many spaces you want, and it's pretty easy to set up.
Excellent.
Andrea, that's Nav, right? You're talking Nav, right?
Yes, Nav 2017 and later, I believe BC also does the Nacha on automatic.
Yeah. Yeah, BC is data exchange definitions predefined with Bank America and Citibank and positive pays. And EFT are all predefined. You just have to update what the bank is for. So it's ready to go.
Definitely, yeah. Or the Nacha is just the standard one, but because the positive pay for Bank of America is going to be different than that Nacha file for ACH.
Right.
Awesome. All right, Andrea, thank you. And yes, contact Andrea if you want to talk about mods. Definitely.
Yes, I love mods, guys. It was so sad. I was like, I have great mods.
Fantastic. All right, and then Jesse. Hey, Jesse.
Hi. Okay, so I was going to talk about our item creation, but now I don't know if I want to. It's not as good as yours, Linda, but we actually did an item, what we call an item replication. So we, not currently, but at the time when we built this, had about 83 companies in our Nav 2013 environment. And one of our biggest issues was item master data. Okay, so keeping items, with the same part numbers, not being set up in all these different companies different. So we came up with what we called item replication. Basically what we did is we created a new company called Headquarters. And we did some development to make certain companies' items have to come from this headquarters company. So when you log into this headquarters company, you could set up an item, everything that you fill out all the information in it, and then you would go into the top and you would pick what companies you want to sync it down to, and then you process it, and it sends the items to the other companies and sets it up automatically. So you can pick and choose which companies you want to send it to. You can send it to all. And then on top of that, it even also automatically sends updates. So if you decide the description on your item needs to change, you can go into the headquarters, change it, send it down. Costs, we do cost rolls once a year. So if our manufacturing cost changes or anything like that, set it up in headquarters and we send it out. So pretty simple to the point. But that's one of the main things that we did recently. So
pretty clever. Yeah.
Thanks. It wasn't my idea.
A question. So sure. It is basically a report that you run in that headquarter company?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like a code unit. So we that processes it down. So
perfect. Because that was my idea talking to the owner the other day. I was like, we have a consolidation company. They do it, but I haven't done it, honestly. But yeah, that was my first thinking. So
yeah, it keeps all of our items in sync. So and then we only have it actually rolled out to one of our product lines, which is our production equipment line. I think our next one is drilling, which is going to be probably 100,000 items that we're going to have to go through and fix up. So yeah.
Excellent. Other questions for Jesse or any of the panelists? All right. Any new ideas that have come up from this discussion that folks want to share or see if anybody else has thought about?
My idea is to find out how much Linda charges independently as a consultant.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much that app costs, basically. I want to buy
it. Whatever the price is, it just went up.
I know that, don't you tell me, but you know something? It's worth it. That item thing is giving me, I'm getting crazy because now we connected EDI. Now we have the GT number, PLUs, UPCs, so it's getting complicated, more and more complex every day.
Yeah.
So, because now if we don't have the data, they cannot print the GT labels. So it's one of those things, we really need something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that was I told when we kept circling back around to item creation because I kept telling people it's the Achilles heel of Nav. It's like if you do that wrong, you can't recover downstream. So making that as simple as possible for my users and as error-proof as possible was the goal of that project. So we just keep adding to it.
Fantastic. Any other quick questions, comments?
No, I mean, this is my first one, so thanks for having me. I appreciated the bartending lesson at the beginning. I'll probably just be drinking beer from now on, but I mean, I'll copy down all the recipes that I can.
We're an equal libation kind of group. That's okay.
Hey, Linda.
Yeah,
can
I mean,
you how you train for Powerapp?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Can I ask you what training you did to learn how to do the things you did in Powerapp?
Good question.
So there is a fella, and I will grab his name. Mostly, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, but there's Sean, and I will get his name for you. He runs an intro Powerapp class, and he has a YouTube channel, and he does a lot of stuff. I subscribe to all of his stuff. And basically, I just played around with it a lot. I was like, I saw a lot of stuff. I used to actually drag Kelly Miller with me to a couple of Powerapp things at the last conference that we went to. and just, she and I was just throw some ideas around, and then I just started doing. The nice thing about Powerapp is that it's a low code. You don't really have to be a coder to use it. I mean, it helps if you've used like VBA code with like report server or in Excel, or you understand kind of how functions can work. If you can write VBA in Excel, you can use Powerapp. So you can get stuff done that way. But really the learning curve to get started isn't real steep. Once you start getting, trying to use Azure with and do other stuff, it gets a little bit obviously more complicated. But if you start small, it's really easy to create little apps, just fill little bitty holes, and then you just keep expanding. The app I showed you started off with like one page, just that edit page, and we just started there. I'm like, can I get this thing done? And then we just kept adding to it. Nice. And so now it completely replaces. You can't even create an item in Nav. Now we've locked it down. There's only like 2 people who can actually create an item directly in Nav in our system right now. You have to go through this app to create it, because it runs all that business logic and does all that stuff for you. So,
Linda, Steve posted a link for Sean Dorward in the chat. Is that the Sean you're referring to?
No, let me grab the name. Hold on. Okay. He's all over my email. So, because I actually, I use him as a consultant when I get stuck. So I've got him in here. Let me pull that up. Let's see, here's my inbox. Vendors. So his company is called Powerapp 911, and it's Shane Young is who I'm talking about. Shane Young, yeah. He has a company, and all they do Powerapp consulting. So he has he has a YouTube channel. You can go them directly for consulting help. What I do is they have a system where you can pay for X number of hours, and then I can use those hours any way I want. So when I get as far as I can on a problem, and when I get stuck, I just throw them an email and they help me with whatever it is I'm working on. And he has office hours, and he does a lot of stuff. So I highly recommend Powerapp 911 if you're interested in getting into Powerapp.
Yeah.
We have another question for you, Linda. What pricing model do you need for your Powerapp users?
That's an excellent question. We actually have Powerapp because we have the full. I can't remember what our license code is, but we have we have Office 365, and so what I'm doing is all included in that. I do use. It's mostly the connectors that will cost you more money, or there's premium connectors versus free connectors. And I do a lot of my stuff in SQL because I'm a SQL gal. So there's the SQL connector itself is a premium connector. And I'm sort of grandfathered into an old licensing structure based on that. I don't know I know they changed their licensing structure in the past few months, and I don't know exactly what that would be now. But if you use CDS or Dataverse, as they're calling it now, or some of the other online things, you can get away without using premium connectors. I think SharePoint, if you use SharePoint as a data source, is a free connector. So it's how you connect your data that is really going to cost you. So you got to look into licensing that. And I'm sorry, I'm not up on it anymore because I'm sort of grandfathered into an old model, so I don't know what it would be today, or else I'd tell you. But it doesn't really translate.
Excellent. All right, everyone. Well, it's about the top of the hour. Thank you again to everybody on our panel. Obviously put a fair bit of time preparing to share with us today, so thank you. We've got the survey link in the chat still. Would always love to hear your ideas for future topics, strengths, and so forth. We have our April meeting scheduled. And if you're a member of the meetup, you've gotten a notice probably about that, so you can go ahead and register. And I think that's it. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Stay safe out there. Enjoy spring. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mark.
Bye, folks. Thanks.
Stop the recording.